Alrighty, hello. What is up, Vibe Army? It's Liam. We're back. Just gonna be playing some 200 Zoom. So let's hop right in. So it's gonna be a high frequency call, but we'll raise here on a 91 on table 2. Pure 3-bet here on table 1. Just a fold on table 2. I'm not really going to be going for too many exploits in these videos. So we'll mix pre-flop. For example, this hand can open or it can fold. Obviously, there's lots of reasons why I might want to pure open or pure fold it, but for these videos, I don't really want to go too exploit heavy. Versus fish, I'm fine going exploit heavy. So versus a fish, I'm just going to triple off. I think they're just going to way overfold to the bet line. And on table 1 versus a flat in the cutoff, I think this guy is still a... I think this guy's a recreational as well. When he checks back, I'm expecting to have just like a lot of ace high and like middling pairs. So I'm just going to go bet here with my hand. But yeah, not going to go super full exploit mode when there very potentially are people playing in these pools who are good thinking regs that are going to be able to counter exploit me pretty easily. So 3-betting here on table 2. Versus a recreational, 3-betting a little bit wider. Okay, so it's an interesting board. He's going to have 8s and 6s at a higher frequency than we do. I think I can bet or I can check. I think check raise is going to perform pretty well here. I think people are likely to overstab. And now when he checks back, I think that a lot of the higher pairs from him, like 9s, 10s, jacks, are going to have bet themselves. So I'm expecting him to have like a lot of ace high here when he checks. Kind of close there with the ace 9. We get the he fold. But yeah, I think his range is pretty capped, is what I'm saying, I guess. So I think an overbet makes some sense there, and I think that my overpairs would want to play the same way. In theory. Someone in my comments last time wanted to, or was asking if I could change the big blind amount to the real dollar amount. If that's something that enough of you guys are interested in, I don't mind changing it. Because I do, I'm a lot more used to the big blinds, but when I play live, I've been playing some 5, 10, 20. So it's similar like sizings, 3-bet, 4-bet wise, opening wise. So I wouldn't mind getting more used to that sizing scheme, I guess. but let me know. Just a pure fold versus a 3-bet here. My hand can 3-bet or it can call here. I think on a 65, it's probably was just a call, actually, but we're going crazy here for the video. A board that you can play like a billion different strategies on. I'm just going to simplify to 1/3 with range. And I don't think I'm going to lose much, if any, EV. I think a 74 is slightly too low for sixes here. I like having the ace of clubs, and it's a really good turn card for us. So I think I'm just going to sneak in the overbet here. Just going to 1/4 with my range on this board. Definitely would need to build a checking range in theory. So he's going to improve to some king jack, jack 8, pocket jacks at a low frequency. That being said, I like checking back my hand. I can protect my check back range with some flushes. When I bet again, starting to isolate myself to some better king X. So he improves to king queen, or ace queen, I mean. I think he should block all of his king X. Pretty confident I have the best hand here. This might be too thin, but I think I'm just going to go for it. And then here is going for the raise on table 2 with 2 recreationals and a hand that really wants to raise. Gonna check that one. That might have been too thin. I just think when he checks, we're pretty good pretty often. On the turn king, he has a lot of jack X still. I really just don't want to let him get away from a jack. Improves to ace jack, which is good. My hand can call sometimes. On a 78, though, it's a super low frequency call versus 2 big blinds, though. I think I'm getting a better price. I think a bigger bet size from him makes sense. So I think my hand can call or it can raise. Pretty capped on this board. I'm not going to have threes that often. I'll have ace queen at some frequency. Versus the overbet, nothing to do but call here. We pick up pocket sixes. That might be like one of the only hands we want to build a raising range with. But I don't think that this low flush draw wants to get into that raising range. And just checking range on table 2. Now he checks. I think we can bet a hand like ace jack plus. Just trying to think what sizing we want to go. We do improve to 4-5 also. We might have some jams. I just don't really like the properties of my hand for jamming, so we block some folds in his flush draw region. So I think we probably want to play like a normal bet there for our ace-x, and then like a jam for our like 4-5, or if we did trap the turn with sixes. But yeah, I'm not sure about that one. More that I think about it, though, I'm trying to think what other hands I could use to bluff for my jam sizing. And I might actually just have to mix a hand, and not a pure open table 1. Versus 2 big blinds, I'll call table 2. This hand can 3-bet at some low frequency. Yeah, I guess when I call, I really only have flush draws to bluff with. I'm just folding on both tables. Maybe a hand like 6-5 makes a decent jam. If he's ever supposed to check a hand like ace-6. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll check that one. I'm also just not sure if the thinnest I can actually bet on the river there. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear that car going crazy. I think a board that I want to play a slightly bigger bet sizing on. He's got a lot of like middling strength hands that are going to have a tougher time versus this. I'm going to go like 66. You know, he's got some random 8x. He's got a lot of pair plus draws, 9x, 10x. Now I think a slight overbet on the turn makes a lot of sense. Versus a recreational, just going to bet. I think I still want to leverage my overpair advantage for this size. When he doesn't check raise me on the flop, I'm feeling pretty confident that he, you know, doesn't have a lot of straights, 2 pairs, sets. So the value of my hand is goes up a lot on a brick after not getting check raised. Going to overbet the turn here and just follow 3 overs. It's important to include some complete airball hands in your betting range, so you're not just like, if you're only barreling with flush draws here, you get to the river and just have to give up because you're blocking all of his auto fold flush draws. So we play jams on this river. Just trying to think if versus a recreational it's going to perform. I think we can accomplish basically the same thing betting for like this size, and I think he's going to fold and call basically the same hands. We just lose less when we get called. Well, he's got some auto folds, but I think his 10x is going to fold regardless. I think he's probably just always going to end up calling with a jack. Not a pure frequency 3-bet there, I don't think. But yeah, it's a super good run out for us. Jack 10 gets counterfeit. Yeah, I feel like my hand, we'd be playing mostly jams there, I think, because our sizing on the river, in theory. My hand can mix on this board. I think I'm going to need to build a checking back range. Versus an unknown player, I am going to split with a check back and some bets on an 80. I'm going to bet my hand. we can call a check raise. Yeah, I think our hand is still slightly too strong to fold here. Pretty good card for me. I'm blocking some of his auto folds on the turn now. Like, he can check raise a hand exactly like this. So I'm just going to check my hand back and bluff the river. 4-5 gets there, which isn't great. As much as I like betting the turn here, practically, I do think I can't bet my hand all the time. Now on the river, though, I think I just get to bluff pretty much everything. I don't think I ever have to give up with a hand here. I still have like Queen X that wants to bet. Three betting table 2. Just gonna mark this guy as a recreational. Mark this guy too. So my hand can mix between call and 3-bet. I like calling my hand to keep this recreational in the pot. So I'm going to have a pretty condensed range on this in this position, or in this dynamic, I guess, which is going to include a high proportion of sets, which is why Annie has to do a lot of checking here. Also, given that the big blind is in the pot, just has to continue by checking a lot. Just going to simplify to checking my range on table 2. When the big blind leads out, never folding my hand. Not super loving the spot, but still just with a recreational, expecting them to have, you know, some element of complete spaz. Just gonna call my hand. Don't think I can lead on that turn. Well, maybe I can actually. Yeah, this kind of sucks. He's saying he has like a 10. I kind of don't mind raising. That was way too big. I misclicked. Yeah, I mean, I block 8-9. I block flushes. 2 pair. I think versus the overbet, I do build a slight raising range for my 3x. King 3 is still ahead of some worse 3x. Puts his flush draws, or yeah, I think this is a thing. I probably should have won a bit bigger. Timing out everywhere. He has a lot of missed flush draws. I guess his calling range is going to come from worse 3x, 7x potentially. I don't know if my hand is strong enough to jam. Yeah, I just did not have enough time to think about the spot, and I ended up picking probably a bad sizing. Versus a jam, I think he can be raising worse 3x for value, so I probably just have to call off. And big better checking this board. Yeah, in my panic moment, I was thinking I could target some 7x with this eyes and potentially induce some jams with misdraws. But I don't really think it's a thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. I need to check that one too. Just over betting here on table 2, jamming river. There's a lot of worse ace-x. He turns ace-3, which is nice. Versus a recreational there, I'm worried maybe the overbet is a little bit too scary. Maybe just like a pot size. Pot is better. Just folding here on table 1. Yeah, I want to go back to that king 3 hand. Yeah, I was kind of timing out everywhere. I didn't really know what was going on here. Mixed frequency open on table 2. Checking range on table 1. This is a board that I have to do a decent amount of checking on. On a 98, though, I'm sure my hand can bet at some frequency. Even though it's probably a super, super high frequency checking hand. Oh, time banked out table 1. Just going to open a new table. Yeah, I don't think my line really makes that much sense. Like maybe an overpair can take this line. I'm going to call here on table 2. And then just flop the absolute nuts. I think it's, with 2 recreationals, getting a pretty good price from the small blind. Obviously, it sucks getting squeezed, and it's a pretty attractive squeeze pot for him. But oh wait, no, 7.8. Still just gonna call my hand on an 81. Yeah, I was thinking maybe some overpairs can take this line. So that was my reasoning. I just thought I'd protect it with some 3x and possibly induce him to jam. Okay, versus small. This is not a thing. It's a bad turn. Guess I'm just gonna call again. I don't mind donking on the 4, honestly. I'm worried he might include some 4x in that range, though. Hoping to just check and win versus, like, some random shit. King 9. Wow, this is a disaster run out. I mean, it makes 4s less likely. I think I'm just going to bet this to try and get called by worse flushes and then fold to a jam. So I don't think he's going to jam a worse flush on this run out. Okay, so I need to take a note here. Barrel turn. Overbet spot. Here I 3-bet. I think I'm going to have some complete give ups on this board, but I think I'm going to play 50% or check. My checks are going to come from like some complete air garbage, but I think 10s is still strong enough to get in there for a bet. Jack 8. I guess he has some worse, or he has Jack X that can call me there as well. I just want to check this turn. There's so much going on. What is happening right now? This is a very hectic session so far. I'm timing out left and right. My hand is too weak to jam for protection. If this was not a queen, I would love jamming here. I wonder if I can donk here. Donk jam. I feel like that's kind of interesting. Honestly, I feel like that would be kind of sick. Maybe my hand isn't the right candidate to do it, just because I still have showdown value, or like a fair amount of showdown value. But actually, I don't really think I have a flush advantage. So my spades are going to bet the turn pretty frequently. I'm going to check that spot regardless. I don't know why, but it feels like the time banks in this session are like twice as short. Don't have time to think about anything. Three betting table one. I want to bet my hand very frequently on table two. Just going to build a big bet over bet range for my flushes. Pretty bad river. He sells some two pair and king X. I don't mind protecting my checking range with some of these super weak flushes though. Yeah, I was thinking about betting. I feel like it just has king. Maybe I should have just gone for like the 2.5. Actually, I kind of prefer that. Just betting like super small. Probably not getting raised enough by better flushes. And yeah, just getting value from hands like this. My hand can call. I think it does all three versus cutoff here. The slightly lower 3-bet percentage, I'm just going to fold. Playing out of position in 3-bet pots is just not fun. So I'd prefer to 4-bet my hand if I'd rolled higher, but I think on F15 I can just fold, or 16, whatever I rolled. Even versus the slightly smaller sizing. Don't think it's insane versus someone who's not 3-betting enough. I was gonna say I would open this versus this guy who looks like he's under 3-betting a fair amount. Alright, I'll go for another 15 minutes-ish. My hand can 3-bet at some frequency. It can call. On 23, I'm just going to call. A board that he has to do a fair amount of checking on, that I think people are probably over c-betting on. So, pretty attractive board to raise in position here. He does find the check though, and I can't start blasting off with everything because I still have a lot of air in my range. On a 14, I'm just going to check back my hand. I like having the diamond. Still just have to find some checks. Now when it goes check, check, he's saying he's got like some middling pair, some ace high, or some kind of like king or queen that he funneled into this line. I think on a 10, I still, have to check back some hands like these. Again, I can't just bet everything. So on the 2, I'm going to have some 2x in this line. And I think it's just going to be tough for him to defend here versus a raise. He's got like a lot of queen x and weak hands that are trying to target my ace x. But I absolutely have some 2x in this line. So I think raising there is probably pretty good. Opening on table 2. Taking a sip of my water. Fold, fold. 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 Just kidding. How are we doing on the leaderboard? Not too bad. Let's just wait 20,000 hours for stars to load anything that you open. Okay, pretty bad. So recreational, but there's different types of recreationals, right? So this one's got like a 17% 3-bet. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense for me to open wider from the small blind. I want to open a lot tighter. I don't think donks on this board is really a thing. He goes half, which is a good sizing. I think my hand is going to mix 3-bets and calls. Although I think the 3-betting line is slightly tougher to play against, or the check raising line is going to be tougher for him to play against. So we both have a fair amount of jack X. I'm going to do something a little bit sneaky here. I still just want to put his overpairs and 1-pair/2-pair hands in a tough spot. Ooh. This makes for kind of a cool small bet jam over a raise. Okay. Well, I think we pretty happy with that result if he's not raising a jack on the river. I'll call my hand versus 2.2. I'm a 77. High frequency call. Let's see, where is that 6-8 hand? Yeah, high frequency call, table 2. I think on this board I want a big better check. I'm just going to check back my hand. I think it's going to mix between both. And versus this size, nothing to do but call on table 1. So when he checks, we're still ahead of ace queen. By betting, we get some weaker hands or some like middling pairs to potentially fold. We get called. Yeah, we get called by worse. However, we risk getting jammed on, which really sucks with our hand. So I'm just going to check back. And now on table 2, I think I'm just going to call. So the bet check bet, he can't bluff everything here. So he's saying he took this line with like a jack or something, or like an overpair. We block the overpairs, we block king jack. This can't be a bad bluff catcher. I'm just going to fold on table 1. Okay, yeah, there's so many hands to talk about. Yeah, this one I thought was kind of cool. We still put his overpairs in like one pair type hands in a really tough spot with the super small size. We don't want to go super big with our hand and start isolating ourselves to just jack X. Just going to range bet this board. And then on the river, if he does raise a jack versus this size, which I was expecting him to, he's in a really tough spot versus a jam, because we can definitely still have some boats. And I think he should raise versus a size this small, because I just get to value bet all my 6x and not ever, get called by worse, or get raised by better and have to call, be in a tough spot. I like just barreling here. Okay, then there was that other spot, which was this. Yeah, so he bets, checks the turn, and then bets the river. Yeah, he's saying he has like a jack. It's really the only hand that makes sense for value there. He just has like a fair amount of candidate to bluff, I think. A mixed frequency call on table 2. Or that he can just range bet that he checks. So again, similar to that other spot, I can't just start going crazy here with everything. So I'm going to check back. Opening wider versus someone with a small 3-bet. Get owned, Liam. Don't mind raising this hand at some frequency versus the small bet. Gives me a bluff on club runouts. Also, this size just feels like kind of marginal value. If he's taking this with a club with like, what's it called? If he's taking this line with a flush, the trappiest line ever, check flop, small bet turn, then I guess I got owned, but I think he's mostly just got like a jack or something. Okay, this hand. Yeah, I don't really know how I feel about this call. It's a line that he has to have some give-ups in. It's just still somewhat hard for me to think of bluffs that wouldn't just barrel the turn. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure. Gonna 3-bet slightly wider versus recreational. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of weird hands, so I wasn't sure about some of them. Versus middle position, does this ever 3-bet? I don't remember. I think ace-jack is the bottom versus middle position. If ace-10 off does, it's super, super low frequency. All right, gonna go for another 5 minutes. Just folding versus the short stack 3-bet. Once again, gonna 3-bet a little bit wider than a acceptable versus a recreational. And just gonna c-bet small because I think it's gonna perform well. I think I'm just gonna lay this down versus the check raise and just c-betting range on table 1. We've got a huge king and queen x asymmetry. Like I've got a gut shot and an over that are both probably not good a fair amount of the time, or if they are, they're flipping versus a draw, a flush draw that is. Just gonna bet here on table 2, or table 1 rather. 3-bet table 2. Pure 4-bet on table 1, obviously calling off blind v blind. So goes for the slightly smaller open. I'm assuming this is some kind of exploit versus the pool. I think, yeah, my hand makes for a pretty high frequency 3-bet. All right, good luck. Just gonna c-bet range on this board for small. I think in theory, do need some checkbacks. I'm just calling here. So he's got 3s and 7s, and then like queen 7. He's got hands like 4, 5, 5, 6, 8, 9, some like 1 over card spade X hands. Don't think my hand ever wants to raise the turn here, although I think I do need to build a raising range for some flushes. Just gonna call. Not a great river, given that 3s, 7s, I mean, they're already ahead of my hand, but I think my hand's gonna 3-bet a decent frequency on this flop in table 1. Actually, yeah, we counterfeit queen 7 now. I think with the ace of spades, my hand just has to call here. And he's just got a flush. Just gonna fold table 1 now, and the flush comes in. Check that one too. All right, gonna sit out next big blind here. Three betting table 2. You still got like 4-5, 6-5, 8-6, random like gut shot / straight draw, bluffs on the flop that can barrel on the turn and river, and then he's also just got some random one spade type hands that he can use as bluffs. And 99 here will call. And versus the squeeze, mostly folding, I believe. Full screen mode, last hand. Oh man. I think I want to build a raising range out of like ace jack, pocket sixes, ace six maybe. But I think my hand just mostly wants to call. I'd rather use like a nutted flush draw to put into my raising range. Well, we're open-ended now. Probably never calling pocket eights on the flop. Although I'll have ace eight. On a 99, my hand probably raises at some frequency. Although I don't know if we actually have much of a raising range. Yeah, I don't know if we actually have a raising range on the turn. We drill the nuts, so that's always a good plan. Expecting him to have some like ace king a lot of the time, ace queen. Just really don't want him to fold that. While we play jams here in theory, I'm just worried that we wouldn't get called enough. And I guess that's that. All right, well, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. And yeah, take care, guys. Peace out.